this is a story time, and I know you guys are reading the title and you're probably like, what the heck, but you just have to let me explain. Also, if you follow me on Snapchat, you probably already heard the story before, but if you haven't, well, listen up and also follow me on Snapchat because you're missing out. Okay, so I got to be an extra on this one movie that hasn't came out yet, but when it does, I'll let you guys know. But I got to be an extra on that. And in this movie, there were like a few celebrities, and there were a lot of guys there from R&B groups from back in the day. And I saw this one, he was from one of my favorite R&B groups, and I'm going to call him Devon for this video. And that's a That's So Raven reference if you don't know. Okay, so we are sitting in the auditorium and we're like waiting to go back on set. And I'm hanging with a few people I met on set. And I just happened to turn around and Devon is like right there, and he's like leaning over like the ledge, and he's just like looking over the auditorium. So I look forward, and the girl I was sitting next to, the girl who I met like that day, I'm gonna name her like Andrea. I was like, oh my god, Devon is right behind us, and she had no clue who he was. Really just did not know anyone in this movie, but that's another story for a different day. Okay, so she was like, go and talk to him. And so like I turned back around and he looks down at me, and I look forward again. I was like, oh my god, he is just so handsome. And she's like, just go talk to him. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go say hi. Why not? So I get up and I go around the ledge, and I'm about to walk up to him, but I just got super scared and I just kept walking past them, and I went out of the auditorium into the hallway, and I was like walking towards the bathroom. I know, I'm stupid, like I don't know why I did that. And so I was like, hey Krysten, stop being a punk. So I didn't even go into the bathroom. I just turned around and I started to walk back, and I see he's actually leaving the auditorium, and he's like walking down the hallway. We are the only ones in the hallway. And so I was like, okay, well that sucks. And so I decided to go back in the auditorium, and I was like, what's the worst that could happen, you know what I mean? So I turned back around and I was like, Devon. And then he stops and he turns around, and I whispered to myself like, oh shit, like he heard me. And he was like, yeah. And so I'm just staring at him, I'm like, oh my god. So he starts walking towards me, and I start walking towards him, and he's like, yeah. I was like, hey, I love you. What? Stop. You are not a fangirl. So then he like smiles at me, and he was like, I appreciate it. And I was like, yeah. So my sisters and I have been a huge fan of you and your group for such a long time. And he was like, wow, I appreciate that so much, thank you. And then he like grabs me. You know, in the movies when the girl is mad at her boyfriend and the boyfriend's trying to make it up to her, so he like grabs her and he like pulls her into his chest and stuff. It was just like that. Like he grabs me and he pulls me into a hug, right? And he smelled amazing. Okay, and then he was like, what's your name? And I was like, oh, I'm Krysten, you know, like I ain't nobody, stuff like that. And he was like, well, it's really nice to meet you, Krysten. And he's just staring at me. I'm staring at him, and he's still staring at me. I'm just like, okay, Devon, like stop. And I was like, you are very handsome. And listen, he looks at me like he's staring at me. He's about to look me up and down. Like I'm about to show it for you guys. Just watch. This is how he was. He was like this. Watch. And you are so beautiful. Alright, like I was about to go tell Devon to go ahead and go ask my dad for permission to marry me, because we are obviously going places, you know, like. So we just stood there and we just kept talking. We're talking and talking. Then he gets called to go back on set, and he was like, hey, let's talk later. And I was like, cool, you know, like sure, we can talk later. Okay, so then it's like rolling around like 1 or 2 a.m. and then we are finishing up the scene, movie, whatever, and I'm walking out with a few of the girls I've met on set, and we were going to go say bye to someone, and then all of a sudden everyone just kept hitting me like, look, and I turn around and Devon is just sitting right there on like the curb thing, and he's on his phone. I was like, oh my god, fate, right? So I was like, hey again, and he looks up at me and he like smiles, and he like gets up and he was like, hey, and we just started talking again and whatever. And then I realized they were actually picking up everything because they were going to a different area to go shoot some more for this movie. And so I was like, why not get a picture? You know what I mean? So I was like, hey, can I get a picture? And he was like, yeah. So he like wraps his arm around me, and then we like take a picture. We took probably like 4 because, you know, the first one's never good enough. After the picture, I was like, thank you, it was really nice meeting you. He's like, you too. And I was like, yeah, I'll see you later. He's like, yeah, bye. And I left. Like, that was it. That was that. Okay, so then the following day, I woke up to a notification on my phone. I look at my phone and I see that it says that Devon has followed you on Snapchat. What? I was like, what? He followed me on Snapchat. Like, you have to physically add someone on Snapchat. Like, we can all follow Kim Kardashian and watch her story and everything, but she can't follow you. Well, she can't follow you, but she can't watch your story because she hasn't physically added you back. You know what I mean? He has access now to watch my story. He followed me. So I was like, oh snap. Oh yeah, I like kind of started freaking out. Like, I mean, who wouldn't freak out? You know what I mean? I was like, maybe he wants to grab lunch. Because last night was something. I seen too many movies to know that last night he was interested in me, right? He was interested. So I went to go tell like my mom, my sisters, my friends, and everything like that. We're all like, oh my god. You know, of course, what's the perfect thing to do when you start liking a guy? And that is, of course, go and stalk him. So I'm going to look at his brothers, girlfriends, moms, side chicks, dogs, groomers, therapists. Like, I'm going to look at everything. So I'm looking at Twitter. Scroll, nothing. His Twitter's clean. I went to his Instagram, scroll. His Instagram clean. I went to his Instagram tag, scroll. Oh, wait a minute. What's this? Boop, click the picture and I see he's holding hands with a female. What is this? The caption read this: I'm so happy to see that my best friend married the love of his life. What? He's married? He's married. I was like, no, get out of my face. Like, this, what? Oh, I went to the girl's Instagram page and I scrolled through her Instagram, and it's just, she's a model, and it's like all pictures of her. Like, it's just, there's no pictures of anyone else. It's just her. There's no pictures of him or them together. Even in her pictures, she's not even wearing a ring. So then I went back to his Instagram. I looked through it again. There's not pictures of him or her together. Just, it didn't seem like they were married. You know what I mean? And so I'm just like, is this some kind of a sick joke? Long story short, yeah, they were married. But it's not like I cared. Like, I didn't even like him, but I wasn't trying to date him or anything. He's nothing. What is he? Who is he? Like, you know? Exactly. Anyways, everyone, thank you for watching this story time. Go ahead and like and subscribe and comment below, and hashtag single is the new black.